call the meeting to order. Will you please stand and salute the United States flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
And now we'll have a prayer.
I thought that was Jericho trying to get it. I didn't realize that we were even going to pledge.
Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for all the leaders here and community members. Please be with us as we make decisions, and thank you for all the many blessings you've given us. Amen.
Amen. Student spotlight.
All right. We want to start with Peyton Jo House. Peyton.
Gotcha.
So Chris Rainey, our transportation director, really bragged on Peyton. So Peyton is a super helper on the bus. And one day in particular, Mr. Rainey was the substitute bus driver. And it's hard being a substitute, especially a sub bus driver. And Peyton, she's so sweet. She gets all the little kids seated. She tells them, she plays little games with them for them to be quiet. She pats them on the back, makes sure they're safe, gets them there, tells them when the first stop is. Just was a huge helper, and it made a big impression on Mr. Rainey. And so he said we want to for sure brag on Peyton and get her recognized at the next board meeting. And so Peyton, you really went above and beyond. You did a great job, and so we've got a little certificate for you, and we're going to take your picture, and you'll be in the newspaper this week. And on Facebook. We'll stand. Where do you want us to stand, Mackenzie?
Right here in front of us.
Okay, we'll stand in front of the fancy screen here. Does anybody else want to be up here? Susie, principal of Peyton at the junior high?
It was kind of hard to not say anything to her. I'd see her in the hall, I was like, she doesn't.
Yeah. Big surprise.
Joe, look up. Oh, sorry, Mom. Oh, sorry. Joe, over here.
Your face.
Let's go. That's it.
Yeah.
We gotta get out of her game. It's a school board meeting.
Yeah, y'all can go. Y'all
Thank
don't
you
have
guys
to-
so much.
Thank you.
y'all. Good luck at your
They look very fearful they're going to have to stay.
Very proud of you.
Got the support.
We got you all started. I'm very proud of you. Good job.
Mackenzie, would you go get the two girls out of Tara's office?
You're gonna be in the newspaper. Thank you.
Peyton's a big help. Very sweet of her to do that.
Good.
So, London,
Trying to come in now.
we're going to honor these two separately. So let's do London first. London is a surprise. So Cheyenne doesn't know that London is being honored tonight. And so we tricked Cheyenne and had her hidden in a room back there. And
I thought it was your truck. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this?
We knew Cheyenne would be late. Now, while most high school students are exhausted after a long day of work, London was going to undertake a very ambitious plan. So for over a year, London drove to Champions Barber Academy in Waco to earn her barber's license. And so while most kids are going home and sleeping and eating and taking it easy, she was out working. So it's a very rigorous course of study. However, it paid off in a big way to London. She's now working at Two to Tangle Salon doing hair, nails, and facials. The decision by London to earn the certification like this was on her own. She's also in the top 20% of her class and shows great character and determination. Ms. Schoaf said London's respectful nature and work ethic make her a natural leader. She's very positive. While many students experience the senior slide, London has kept her foot on the gas while also finishing her barber's license. She's also secured a chair in a professional salon where she transforms her clients' looks. Maybe I'll go to London.
There's no hill.
She's smart and has a lot of wisdom and has done a great job. So London, we're very proud of you. That's a big deal. John, you take a picture? Liz? Congratulations. Yeah, were you surprised?
I was.
All right. Last but not least, Emma, my daughter. So she broke a few school records. So she broke 1 volleyball record and 8 basketball records. And so she scored over, let's see, 3,500 points across the 2 sports. So she scored lots of points. And the basketball, she got in volleyball, 1,911 kills. The basketball records include points in a game, free throws made in a season, free throw percentage, rebounds in a season, and even steals, which is good for a big person. So she had a lot of, that's usually for a guard, and she's not like a big person. So she also had most kills in a volleyball game with 38, and was Super Syntech's first team in both sports, and she is ranked 8th in her class and plans on going to UMHB. So, and she's retiring from sports. We for sure want Liz to stand between us, and Jamie. Yes, Liz stand right here. No, I'm
Where's she gonna study?
Health science.
Health science.
All right. Staff member, Kim Strickland. Speaking of sweet, great people, Kim Strickland. She's retiring this year, and she has done a great job for over 16 years, right, Kim? You've been 19, been a pre-K aide, working with the little bitty guys, and she has done a lot of good stuff. I got some quotes here from Tamla. She said, Ms. Strickland has been an incredible asset to our campus. She's the heart of the pre-K team. She loves every student that walks through the door. She's been a great staple here and will be deeply missed. Van said, Kim's much more than a parapro. She's the heart of the classroom. For our littlest hornets, she has a steady, loving hand as they start their journey in school. She has an incredible gift for always looking on the bright side, no matter how things get. She knows our families, our kids, and she's a great woman and reminds us of how important she's been to the campus. So, Kim, we want you to come on up and honor you. We're going to really miss Kim. Sweet, sweet person.
You can get in there too. Did you want in there? I don't want to.
You're about to get her. I'll be at your retirement party.
Next up is the consent agenda. These are items that are normally just passed along unless a board member wants to pull one for discussion. And then we vote to accept them. Minutes of the March 23rd regular meeting, financial statements as of March 31st, bills and payroll for March 26th, budget amendments, year-to-date budget amendments to fund balance, vital signs report, food service report, and summer school dates. Does anybody want to pull any of those to talk about? Do I hear a motion we accept them? Okay, Charlie, second. Okay, Emily. All in favor? The next things on the agenda are information items. First, we'll talk about summer feeding program.
Good evening.
We are going to be doing our summer feeding program again this summer. It is going to mirror exactly what we did last year. If you remember last year, we tried to run this program not in a deficit, but we did lose $3,200 last summer. But we feel like that was worth it for all the kids we get to feed. We did, if I can remember right, see if I wrote it down, I didn't. But we did thousands of meals for the kids last summer. So this summer we're going to do the same thing. We are going to utilize elementary campus, so that will be the campus people can go in and eat, and we feed any child 18 and under in the community. So it's not just our kids. And then we're also going to do the side pieces. We're going to go to the pool again. We'll go to Trinity again. We will have, sometimes we do WIC and those type of places. And then we'll also feed the camps, and we'll have the stuff out here for any high school events that are going on or any kid camps that are going on. So that will go on between Monday, June 1st through Thursday, July 30th. We'll also feed summer school. So they'll all get to eat for free.
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club will come. They come over and they eat in the cafeteria at the elementary, and then they walk back. So we serve them both breakfast and lunch. So we're hoping that it'll break even, but if not, we do have that the extra money that we have in our cafeteria fund balance to cover it. So just wanted y'all to know we're going to do it again this summer, and hopefully we serve and feed a lot of kids in our community. Any questions?
It's a great program.
It is a great program. We're excited that we can do that for them.
Okay, Medicaid.
Medicaid, if you remember Mr. Frazier talking about Medicaid, and then I got on the same bandwagon, that Medicaid used to bring in a lot of money for us, and it doesn't anymore. So 5 years ago, we were bringing in about $700,000 a year. We run a year behind, so I'm going to tell you about last year. So the year before that, we thought we were going to get about $300,000, and we got $28,000. And so we disagreed with it, and they have never come back, so we got $0 of settle up money that year. They've changed the rules, they've changed the regulations, and so unfortunately right now it costs us more to have all the special education personnel take the time to do the paperwork than we're getting back. So we opted out of doing any of it this year. But right now I am working on the stuff from last year. And so we were hoping, and we thought we would get $117,000 for settle up, but they're telling us it's going to be $15,580. So we are going to accept it because we didn't get anything the year before when we disagreed. And so we're going to pull that in, but we did not budget for anything this year for them. So that's an extra $15,000 we're going to get because we did not budget. So this should be the last time, unless they can change it and it makes it worth our while. But right now it's costing us way more to operate the program than it is for the money coming in. So unfortunately, we are not doing it this year. But I just wanted y'all to know that we should be getting $15,000 from the year before. So any questions on that?
What did you say we were gonna get before you disagreed?
We thought it was going to be $177,000, and they told us it was only gonna be $28,000.
And then it ended up being nothing?
It was nothing because we disagreed, and so they took it. I mean, maybe one day we'll get it, but they've never said another word. They didn't give us anything, and they haven't come back at all with it. So we didn't get any of that. So this time I agreed, so we could at least get the $15,000.
We learned our
We
lesson.
learned our lesson. They said if you disagree, we're going to look at it, but you may never get paid. So we did a whole bunch of paperwork, and we turned in why we thought we worked with Onward, why we thought it should be more than $28,000. They said we received it. You will have to wait for an answer, and we've never received any answer. So now it's 2 years later, and we got $0 from that year for settle up.
Is that the kind of thing that you would normally get your school lawyer involved with it to help you?
It's possible, but the feds got upset with the state, and the state was doing things that were really incorrect, but they didn't tell us that we were doing it incorrect. And so they got in a lot of trouble, and they owed a lot of money back to the feds, and so they really got stringent on the laws and the rules, but it didn't trickle down fast enough. Some schools last year actually owed money back. They had to pay money back. So we got really lucky that that was not the case for us. And the federal government had used, I think it was 2017, to look at whether we were doing it right or wrong. all the schools that were in 2017 that did it wrong, they had to pay money back from 2017 last year also, which was not us. We were not doing it then. So I almost considered us lucky that we just broke even instead of having to owe for that year and for the 2017 year. But we probably need to look into it again. We can do that. Any other thoughts? So
Okay.
another area of cash that has dried up for us. All right, thank you.
School bus safety.
This is just an information item, but it's a required information item. We have to submit a report at the end of May, so I have to present it tonight so that we can get the agenda notes in time to meet the deadline. Way back in September, I presented some information about 3-point harnesses and the requirement for all school buses, and the district operates to have 3-point harnesses. And at that meeting in September, the option was, is it financially feasible for us to buy new school buses to come into compliance? And obviously, logically the answer was no, because it was going to be several $1 million to do that. So now I'm just presenting additional information. We have 14 buses that do have the 3-point seatbelts. We have 23 that do not in our fleet. Of those 23, 18 don't have any seatbelts at all, and 5 have some lap belts, but not 3-point harnesses. Part of this reporting is we had to get quotes to retrofit the school buses with 3-point harnesses. We ran into 2 problems with that. One, people knew the state was doing this, and they wouldn't give you quotes. They're like, we're not going to do the work on this. The liability is going to be on us if something goes wrong with that harness. So we had a very hard time getting quotes. And 2, a lot of our fleet is so old they wouldn't even do the work on them anyway. But we did get the quotes that we needed to get, and for 5 of our buses that they would work on, it would cost about $171,000 to get the seat belts. And for the 18 buses that they wouldn't really work on, they said it would cost you about $70,000 a bus to do those 18, which comes in at $1.2 million. We're not on the hook for any of this. We're not having to pay any of this right now. We're just submitting data to the state. What the state's going to do with that data, we don't know yet. But if we had to pay out of pocket to update our 23 school buses that do not have 3-point harness, 3-point seat belts, it would cost the district roughly $1.4 million. And so we're hoping we don't have to pay that. I don't know what the state's going to do with it, but I am required to present this information to you. I'll answer any questions you have, but I'm presenting tonight so that I can submit this information to the state and be in compliance with their reporting requirements.
The ones that have the seat belts, do we use them?
Yes. Most of them, I don't know about most, some of them are part of our trip buses only, because traditionally at Gatesville ISD, our newest buses go into the trip bus fleet, and then they just kind of push them down into the route buses. We do have 4 brand new buses that we bought 2 years ago with a grant that are in our daily transportation fleet, our route fleet. I don't have the exact number of where the breakdown on how many our route fleet has the 3-point harnesses. I can get that though.
Do the kids use the harnesses? Do they use them, or do they not have to use them?
The law does not currently say they do have to buckle up. As the driver, we announce you need to buckle up, and some drivers do better at that than others, because it is one more thing you do have to fight on the buses. I was actually at a presentation today, and school bus transportation is one of the safest modes of transportation that exists according to the data. But there have been some serious accidents, and this whatever led to the 3-point seatbelts being part of the legislation, it made its way into it, and now it's a requirement for us.
How many buses do we run each day?
Oh, we have 30 routes. I think we have 30. That's 30 drivers. I bet some of that's vans. So I bet we have about 26 buses that go out. I have to ask that every time we're trying to do a gift or bus appreciation day. I can never remember. I get to drive one every now and then.
Yeah.
Any other questions about just the compliance? And again, this is information. It's good information. in the packet, there's this sheet that maps it all out for you. We'll find out after we submit our data by the end of May what the state holds next. But my assumption is they're going to create some type of grant to help us get into compliance, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, that leads right on into
Yeah.
the next one.
As we go into action items, can we honor the media folks first?
Absolutely.
Yancy?
Absolutely.
I had to make y'all an action item because we were adopting a resolution. And so y'all weren't at the very beginning, but we've got certificates for y'all just like the kids. But over a year ago, I made a note to put 3 of our Gatesville Messenger folks on the TASB Media Honor Roll. And so you nominate those people to TASB, Texas Association of School Boards, staff of newspapers, radio, TV that do a lot to help the school district, and these 3 do a lot to help the school district. And so I wanted y'all to know we had decided to do that way before the fire or anything like that. But of course, they've had a hell of a few weeks with the fire and all the turmoil, and are we losing our job? Are we keeping our job? And so if you saw the most recent Gatesville Messenger, we had some good news that another local entity, yes, is going to buy the Messenger. And so David and some of the others checked out the primary office staff and so the office space, and so they've already got desks. Have you been in there already, David?
Today's our first day.
First day. Allie, you in there too? Yeah, good deal.
I went by and checked it out.
You went and checked it out? Okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah. So now Janice took a job with another paper, got a great opportunity there, but we're sad to lose you, but glad that you landed on your feet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sad to go, but I was just in limbo and
Yeah.
I had this opportunity and I
Right.
took it because I didn't know,
You didn't know what was
what's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I'll still be around. I'm helping them transition, and they've asked me to stay on and help with some other things, and I said, well, let me get my feet wet over here and figure it out, and maybe I can do a little bit of both. I'll try if I can.
Well, from covering things about the school district, from the bond election to student and staff recognitions and all the different things that these guys do a lot, our advertising, different things, that's what Janice always helped us with. And so we really wanted to, these 3 in particular from the Messenger really helped us. So we've got their names submitted to TASB, and hopefully they'll come out with their list soon. But I wanted to go ahead and make you guys a certificate. And Allie, this time we get to take your picture.
Where are they
Thank you
located?
so
Where's their
much.
office now?
The primary where DPS was.
Okay.
So they just took right over where they put.
Janice, where did you go to work?
At the Hamilton Herald.
At the Hamilton.
Yeah, he's at Grant Lingerfield.
Oh, that is my buddy.
Grant,
Oh,
he's
you,
a great
you
man.
tell him I said hello.
I will, he's wonderful.
Well, this is a little outside of my realm of knowledge,
Oh, you can
so.
do it. You're young. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Guys, thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you.
Barbara will be disappointed that you're not there at the gate. She's not even with you.
Thanks, everybody.
Allie's got it.
Yeah, I sure
bet
hope
they
so.
do.
I read that every time.
She's signed up for it. You're like, she's part of it.
Lose some now.
Sorry, Yancy.
No, I'm glad they got to go.
Yeah.
More school bus stuff. If you remember back in the beginning of the school year, we were only able to budget $100,000 for school buses this year because of our budget was you cannot buy a new school bus for $100,000. Chris Rainey did a bunch of research and we found a reputable used bus company. We were looking at that, and then the state released their 2026 school bus replacement grant, and so we paused the used bus and applied for the grant. And just a few weeks ago, we received notice that we were awarded the grant. And this grant gives us, the grant is $106,000, and we applied for 2 buses. And so a new bus costs about $154,000. That means the district would be on our share of the cost would be about $95,000, which is within the budget of the $100,000 that we had in this year's budget. So we would like to use the grant to buy 2 new buses, 2 new 72 passenger Thomas school buses, and Those buses do have to go directly into the fleet, into their daily route fleet. That's part of this grant. They won't go into the trip fleet. And they'll have 3-point seatbelts. So our numbers have changed a little bit, but the order of this had to happen. So I'll answer any questions, but my recommendation is to approve the purchase of 2 new school buses using local funds in combination with the Texas Emission Reduction Plan School Bus Replacement Grant.
Any questions? Do I hear a
I have
motion?
a question.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
when you get these 2 new ones, then will you be able to drop 2 of the older ones off to?
So the way the grant works is we had to submit 2 buses to replace, and we have to actually destroy those 2 buses. You have to knock a hole in the engine, you have to cut the frame in half, and so those two buses are currently in our fleet, so they will have to come out of the fleet and replace it with these 2 new ones.
And we need to make sure we do that with buses that don't have the 3-point harness.
Yeah, and these 2 don't. These don't. And we had to submit like the actual bus that we're going to replace, the VIN number and all of that stuff. And these are I think 2004 buses. They're pretty old.
Who does the destroying?
There's a place in Briggs that we take it to, that we took it to last time. But the reality is Chris and our mechanic Jason do that. They knock the hole in the block before we send it down there, because we have to get pictures and submit pictures. And we didn't know that. We sent the first one last year to Briggs, and it was a little bit of a hassle to get the pictures, so we take care of it ourselves, because if we don't submit proof in time, then we're on the hook for the grant money too. So we want to make sure that we submit the pictures in time. But it's a great grant. It's the second, we got it a few years ago and had 4 buses at that time, and this will be 2 more, so it's a really good grant. My recommendation is that we use it.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Linda, do I hear a second? Okay, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right.
My last item tonight is it's time to renew the substance abuse policy, commonly called the SAP, with coaches and whatnot. But we have not made any changes this year other than changing the dates. The wording is effective for us. 2 or 3 years ago, we changed the wording substantially to get into compliance with some things that we were running into. This year, we simply just changed the dates on the document from 25-26 to 26-27. So again, I'll answer any questions you have about the substance abuse policy, but the recommendation is to adopt it so that we can move forward with our physicals that are coming up.
I have one question.
Sure.
With the substance abuse, this might be a different question, but anyway, how has it been going? Are we having a lot of kids that's failing drug?
We have not had a lot of students fail drug tests this year, especially compared to last year or previous years, which is a positive, right? And we use it, and the purpose of the substance abuse policy is a tool for the kids to be able to say no. In extracurricular activities, I can't risk getting caught. It's not as so much punitive to catch them, even though there are some punitive consequences with it if you do get caught. It's a tool for the kids to say no. And hopefully that's what's working, because we haven't had a lot of positives this year.
Good.
And we've tested quite a few kids.
About how many kids y'all tested?
Oh, I didn't look at the number this year, but it's around 700 traditionally. I haven't looked this year.
And is it just kids in extracurricular?
It's just extracurricular students, but extracurricular encompasses a lot of things.
Okay.
Band, Skills USA, PALS, Student Council. It's not just sports.
Do they test them randomly, and throughout the year, do students, some get tested twice?
Some do get tested twice, some get
Do all of
tested
them
3
get
times, some don't get tested at all. It's a completely random pool. We try to do a lot of kids at the beginning of the school year, and I'm not telling anything to the students, they know this, that we try to do a lot of kids at the beginning of the school year, and it's 3 random lists, but we try not to duplicate any students at that time. But then as we go through the rest of the school year, the company just sends us, I send them a list of all of our students that have filled out the substance abuse paperwork, and they send me, and I tell them how many students we want to test, and they send me the list of who's going to test. So we're pretty hands off on it. We let them handle all of that, so it's random. And unfortunately, there are some that sometimes kids are like, why do I keep getting tested? It's random, sorry. We don't suspect anything, it's really random.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion to accept the drug policy? Charles, second. Calvin? All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Library purchases.
I forgot to make the recommendation on the TASB media thing. So that was actually an adoption. So I recommend the board adopt the resolution nominating David Scott, Allie Hinkle, and Janice Velasquez to the 2026 TASB Media Honor Roll.
Do I hear a motion for that? Okay, Cheyenne, a second. Okay, Emily, all in favor? Okay, now library purchases.
So under that new law, they have to, before they buy any library books, they post it on the website for 30 days. The parents can comment. No one ever comments. Then after the 30 days, we bring the list to you. Tonight, the primary has a book list and the intermediate has a book list. And so I would recommend the board approve the list of materials as presented so the libraries can purchase those books.
Does anybody have a question about any books? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept that? Linda, a second. Okay, Emily, all in favor? That passes. GISD and Freedom Reigns.
Freedom Reigns has been a good partner for a lot of years. Lori Rockwood is the head of that over in McGregor. I worked with her in Belton. And that's an extra team of counselors that can help our kids go beyond what our school counselors have the time to deal with. And so oftentimes we'll refer them to extra counseling, or the families will request extra counseling. And these guys can swoop in and give them more time that goes beyond what they would just get in the school day with their campus counselor. And so Freedom Reigns bills Medicaid or the family's insurance to pay for the services. In cases not covered by insurance or Medicaid, GISD would reimburse Freedom Reigns for services not covered at a rate of $50 per session. Sessions billed will not exceed 60 minutes per week. Monthly billing will not exceed $1,200 a month. And we've had that arrangement for years and years and years to try to supplement it, because in today's world of all the mental health crises and cutting and substance abuse and just different things that they deal with in their homes, we think that it's important enough that it's worth $1,200 a month. So I would recommend the board approve the MOU with Freedom Reigns so that our students will continue to access additional counseling services through the 26-27 school year.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to accept? Okay, Calvin, second. Okay, Lloyd. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Newspaper MOU.
We've already touched on this briefly, but just formally, we showed David Morris. He is the publisher and kind of the head of that other newspaper, the Coppers Cove Leader Press. He and David Tuma are kind of the two that are buying the Gatesville Messenger, and it
Is
will
that
be.
Gatesville's David Morris? His wife used to teach here?
I'm not sure. He's the father of Joshua Morris, who just graduated last year.
That's not his dad on the field house.
No, that's Mars.
Okay, all right, okay.
But David's a real nice guy, and he came by and looked at that office space where DPS used to be, and they set up, we had desks for them, and Van and Tamla were very accommodating, and so they've got phones and internet and all the good stuff they need to operate a newspaper. And so they were ecstatic to be able to use that for free, and so I just used the little MOU that we use with DPS, and basically it says in there it's free, and it's for 5 years, and then we'll reevaluate it. But if something were to change, if either one of us got bent out of shape, you just give the other person 30 days notice so you can say, that's it. But I anticipate they'll be a great partner, and so we listed all the Messenger staff: David Morris, publisher; Lynette Soul, managing editor; Josh Morris, business office director; Jason Backey, graphics; David Scott, reporter; Allie Hinkle, reporter; Rick Mock, reporter; and Caitlin Smith, outside sales; and Larry Warren, distribution director. So quite a few people that will be in there. How many is that? Are they all in there at once?
Typically, what we're expecting for day-to-day will be me, David Scott, Josh, Lynette come and go, David Morris come and go, Caitlin Smith, don't quote me on this. I believe she'll be there in about the morning time, but then she'll go out and do the sales. Larry, he will typically come on Fridays, and Rick Mock, he is located out of Dallas, so he won't really be here at all. And I believe the Jason, I don't think he will be here that often.
So plenty of space for the
Plenty of
guys that are here.
space
Yeah.
for the people that are there, yes.
And they're all doing a criminal history and getting a badge, not quite the same badge as we have, but that way they won't get harassed, and they'll be able to come in and out of the primary, and kind of like what DPS did. So I recommend the board approve the MOU with Gatesville Newspapers, Inc., doing business as the Gatesville Messenger regarding the usage of primary office space.
Do we have currently in our high school a journalism program?
I'm like literally texting Baird about that right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
We don't, but we have an English teacher and a few students who are really interested in doing that.
That'd be a
and also-
great partnership, since they're right here on our campus.
Yes, one of our English teachers used to do editorial work for a newspaper. I was also thinking maybe like
Get
some
some
of our
kids,
marketing
get some
students
kids
in fact.
involved.
I
And
know-
maybe reciprocate, they could do a little printing if we wanted a monthly newspaper.
School newspaper.
I know
Hornet's nest.
We used to have the
There you go.
hornets.
Hornets Nest used to be a biggie.
Yeah.
I know something we've talked about at the Messenger is potentially striking up a deal with any high school program to see if they would be interested in doing the sports. Because I feel like that would be a good kind of first way, especially for students. It's something that they would already be interested in.
We
That
like
they
that.
would be able to go out there, practice interviewing people, taking pictures.
The recipe of the week is my favorite part, and so the culinary class could help out with that.
I like 40, 50, and 30 years ago. Okay, any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Linda, a second. Calvin, all in favor? You got it. Okay, bond.
All right, the biggie. Mike is here, Tracy's here. So we've had a good week, or week and a, now it's going on second week of early voting.
360 people have voted as
Yeah.
of today.
How many?
360 as of today.
Yeah. And Calvin has harassed all 360 of those people.
You better know
Tomorrow.
I started to take a picture of me after I voted, but I wasn't as colorful as Calvin.
I didn't have my bright colors on.
You sure did.
Just
Are you guys the ones to ask a question about the taxes?
About the taxes?
The comment on the voting ballot that says this will be a tax.
Oh, you can ask what's your specific question. Why is that language on there? Or what does it
Okay,
mean?
I've had people that are near and dear to the school district and want to vote for this bond. And their question to me is, how can you tell me that we're gonna do all of these things and it's not going to be a tax increase, but it says that on the ballot? And I wanna be able to exactly tell them what they need to know, not just hum and haw around, well, what's the deal?
So the deal is, you can control what plans y'all have for the tax rate, and you can control the tax rate to not increase. However, if their property values go up, their taxes could go up, and it is speaking, the legislative mindset on that is, overall, there are more taxes paid over a period of time. You've taken on that debt. So that ballot language is referring to the 26 million itself that will be paid back out of taxes. But an individual will not likely feel it at all because of the zero tax rate increase. We're still under various forms of compression. Their property values don't necessarily have to go up. There's a higher homestead than there used to be, so you have a higher homestead exemption of $140,000. If your property value is under that, you're not going to pay at all. So it's still not referring to an individual's situation. It is referring to the district's situation of the 26 million in taxes that will be paid back.
Well, I went and voted, and there it was, big
All
black and
caps,
white letter,
right?
you know. And I thought, oh, my heart sank just a little bit, but I don't want to lie to the people and, and say, well, it's not going to go up. I needed that little bit of information.
So you mean because the house value could go up because now we have better schools around?
Right.
That's where
Yes.
the taxes could possibly go up?
Yes.
That's what they meant by
Because
that?
typically your appraisals go up every year.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a multiplication problem. The tax rate's staying the same, but your appraisals are going up. And so when you multiply those two numbers together, you're gonna pay out enough to pay off this 26 million.
But it's not only because of the bond, it's everything that it is that that our school district is, goes up. That's just one of the things.
If you have a great school district, that is going to lead to higher property values over time,
Right.
which is what people should want, not declining property values. And the only way to have declining property values would be to not have a great district, and that's not the goal.
Yeah.
I guess the moral of the story is we should have raised the tax. No, I'm teasing.
Well, you joke, but there are some school districts that have made that decision, even if it's a very, very small amount, to say we can avoid any confusion at the ballot box because we've said we're going to raise your tax rate.
We're just going to raise it.
1/10 of a cent.
Right.
You know.
I have shared, and I don't know, I think this is correct, that whether the bond passes or doesn't pass, it's not gonna change anything for the voter. I mean, is that correct?
That is correct.
It's still.
Tax
yes,
rate stays the same.
Still
It's not gonna
89
change.
cents if it's yes, it's 89 cents if it's no.
Right, so,
That's a good way to
Yeah.
explain it.
well, I'm glad that was true. No, I knew it was. I knew it was true.
Any other questions about the ballot language or?
We're off to a
tax rates?
shaky start.
No, this is great, and I mean, unfortunately, you know, when a school board even is struggling with how to make these answers, you can imagine that a typical voter showing up that doesn't know all this school finance law is also perplexed.
Well, we live in an era of great distrust of government or big government or whatever you want to call it. And so even a little tiny public school district gets lumped into that.
I would also just point out that you would not be able to maintain a tax rate and have that INS capacity of 26 million if y'all weren't so good with your fiscal responsibility already and paying back early. You're reducing your debt from interest, and those are the ways that you can point out that y'all are managing it so well that you can have a zero tax rate increase, and you basically can just afford to take out a loan with that same payment.
Thank you very much.
But tonight, we're talking about rendering. So Mike's team has been working pretty feverishly, I think, on exterior and interior kind of rough drafts of what it will all look like.
Absolutely. So thanks for letting us come here tonight. So this is the schematic design phase, and as we move through the project, the next phase will be design development, and then we get into construction documents before those get released for bidding and construction. And so this booklet here is just, it walks you through the process. We've got, in the beginning part, there's several pages of narratives, and so it's really describing the assumptions as we move forward in the project. A lot of these narratives are looking at kind of the civil engineering, mechanical engineering side of things, structural and so forth. And then we use that as our basis as we move into the next design phase as a check to make sure that we're still following those design guidelines. We have had several meetings with different school district staff, so we've met with athletics and fine arts and principals and other key stakeholders, and really done a lot of back and forth. In fact, I have another email tonight about another, hey, can we make another little tweak on the junior high? So it's an evolution of design, and so it's really exciting that it's a collaborative effort. It's not us just going and drawing something up and then handing it off and saying, here you go. It's very much driven by the needs and the wants of the people that are actually going to be in the building and using it, so they know best. As we get past those narratives, we get into this little spreadsheet. That is our program of spaces. And that's really critical for us to make sure we have the right number of spaces, the right sizes, and the relationships that we need. So we use that as a building block as we move forward, as we lay out the actual building and come up with the design concepts. And at any point, I'm going to go through this at a high level, and if at any point we want to go back and visit about something specifically, we can do that. Or if you want to stop me along the way and ask any questions, feel free to do that as well. So this image that's up on the screen is the existing site plan. So we're just showing what the existing conditions are out there at the junior high and the high school, bird's eye view of what's going on. And we have some dashed lines indicating some demolition work that would happen on the site to make it ready for this kind of next phase of design. And then the following page, we start to see what those improvements are. We start to label that, indicating replacement of turf on the baseball and softball fields, showing roofing work at the intermediate school, and then pointing out the junior high additions and the blue box up there by the high school for the field house addition. So again, bird's eye view, giving you an overall view of what's happening, where those additions are going, and new circulation on the site for buses, for parent drop-off, and parking at the junior high in particular that would not only serve the junior high, but can also serve baseball and overflow for other events. So as we move through the booklet, the next drawing shows an overview plan of the junior high, and you'll see a lot of cross-hatching on there. Those lines are just indicating that those are areas of the building that we're not doing any work. So we're really just highlighting these other colored areas, showing a building addition on the north side for additional classrooms and restrooms, and a new MDF room to bring your technology into the building, conference space up there. And then over in the lower left-hand corner, starting to look at a new entry with a secure vestibule, an extension to the office space to receive those visitors, a new secure corridor that comes down along the side of the auditorium to connect to your new fine arts wing, which will have your choir suite and your band suite down there, as well as theater arts. And then renovations to existing spaces include the auditorium, replacing the seating there, improving the acoustics and the audiovisual components in there, making it ADA accessible, replacing the curtains on the stage and some other minor improvements in there, replacing the bleachers in the gym, taking out those built-in bleachers, doing some retractable bleachers, creating a new storage room to make up for that lost storage that comes away when those bleachers are demolished. Our new permanent interior corridor to connect the large gym with the main part of the junior high. And then restroom renovations within the core of the campus. Any questions? Again, that's kind of high level. Yes?
How many restrooms?
So we are renovating the 3 existing group restrooms in the building. And what we're doing there is replacing fixtures and enlarging those restrooms in a way that make them 100% ADA accessible. So we don't actually gain any additional fixtures in that process because of the larger space required for the accessibility. But then what we've done is we've created 2 new group restrooms in the additions for additional student restrooms. Plus, we've inserted some individual toilet rooms for staff in those areas. So you'll have some distributed restrooms, and this has been a big conversation point with the junior high campus, really looking at where do those restrooms go and how many toilets do we need to really make it usable, because that's a big concern that, you know, we want to make sure that students aren't putting themselves in a situation where they've run out of stalls to use and they're got to be back to class or something. So, any other questions about the junior high? And as you work through the booklet, there's some enlarged plans that show it in a little more detail.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. No, this is what we're here for.
I know that they have choir. You know, I don't know how many. I know they're building a theater. About how many classes for theater in junior high? Are those classes going to be used for something else as well?
So the classroom for theater arts is set up as a flexible space. So it's designed for a theater arts class, but there's no reason that you couldn't use it during other class periods for other classes if you
like welding.
Yeah.
Oh,
not welding. No.
No.
General education classes.
Yeah. I'm sorry for asking so many questions.
I want you to ask questions. Anything we can dive into, and I can even get into a little more detail on the choir. So when we looked at the choir and band hall, we talked a lot about how many kids are in the program and how do we support them in a way that's as good or better than how they're being served now as teachers come over and teach at the junior high. And so you'll see in the choir room, for instance, we have a main choir hall that's sized to put their risers in there so they can practice. They have individual practice rooms for singles or up to 3 people. They have a larger ensemble room for groups to practice in, a library workroom and office, and then storage spaces for uniform storage and props and so forth. Over on the band side, we have a main band hall. They also have individual practice rooms as well as an ensemble practice room. They have a large percussion room so that those groups can go and practice in that space. Office, instrument storage, library, music library and workroom. And really thinking about how do you move in between those spaces, how do you supervise those spaces as well. And then if there's an event, let's say they're going to do a big performance over at the high school instead of doing one here at the campus, or they're going to an off-campus event, how do they unload instruments and where do they take those and what doors do they go through. Really thinking about all those details of how that operates on a day-to-day basis.
There's 4 rooms that say PP. Is that those practice rooms?
Those are practice rooms, yes. And so those practice rooms, those are all acoustically treated to mitigate net noise from coming in or going out of the room. So they have special doors and insulation in the walls, and so they're.
Is there carpet in the band hall?
So we haven't decided on flooring in the band hall or choir room. Band halls are interesting because there's often a lot of discussion about carpet versus a hard floor. In band, you get kids emptying their spit onto the floor. So typically they do go with a hard floor, and then we treat the acoustic concerns elsewhere on the walls and the ceiling.
I just remember the trumpets doing that, and I was like, oh.
Yes. Choir and orchestra are less of an issue than band.
What is the scale on this?
So these are just printed to fit the page, but we do have some more technical drawings that we will be sharing with the district that do have a scale on there.
Okay.
And so when we share those out with Dr. Pollard, he can distribute those as well. And we look very carefully about room sizes on all these, making sure that they were right size. So we're not wanting to be too big, but we don't want them to be so tight that they move in and say, well, this doesn't really work for us. We can't support the number of students we need to.
What is MEP?
No.
MEP is your back of the house mechanical and plumbing type things. So it might be a water heater or a mechanical system unit, those kind of things.
The extension will come really close to the administration building out here.
Somewhat, yes. It will impact the parking lot, so that will get reworked.
So remind me where the baseball field parking is going to be.
So, Dr. Pollard, if you go, yes. So over here, just to the right of the gym, we're building a new large parking lot. So it'll be really convenient for baseball, and it'll work well if junior high is having a tournament in the gyms. They can park there and come over.
And there'll be a little pathway?
Sorry?
A little pathway from
grass? So they'll be connected with sidewalks, and we're actually bringing in a new bus drive over there by that new parking lot that'll have a covered canopy so students have a safe place to wait for the buses.
Well, that parking, does it only have one entrance exit?
So technically it has, you could say it has 3 because it has 2 drives that come out to Marshall Street, and then we're also making a connection to the existing lot over here.
I mean, in the parking lot itself, like I see the loop.
Yeah, so you just loop around, correct. So you come in off of Marshall Street, off of one of these drives, or you can feed through that parking lot.
Okay, so then into the parking lot though, that's the only entrance into the actual parking. There's a sidewalk there, correct? Or can you just?
There'll be a sidewalk along along here to connect to the gym, and it comes down into this courtyard.
So to get out of the parking lot, you've got to go to that northeast corner of the parking lot.
You come back out, correct.
Well,
But you can park there, they're gonna do a walkway to the baseball fields from the parking lot, right?
Yes, we'll have there'll be a connection over to the baseball field.
I guess what I'm looking at is, once you're in the parking lot, you're parked.
Yes.
You back out of your space, you have to go to that northeast corner to get out of the parking lot to get onto any one of those 3 exits. Is that correct?
There's a drive that runs. Oh, you're talking about this
I'm talking about
actual
that
connection?
Yes, once you're in
So,
the
yes,
parking spot,
that's
you have
correct.
to go to that corner.
That's correct. So what we're trying to do is, we're trying to control how much traffic dumps onto that drive for when you do have buses there. If the concern is kind of wanting to provide a bit of a relief valve, we could provide another connection there, and you could have a gate that allows you to
That's what I'm
control
saying, is
that.
after an event, that may be a traffic jam, trying to get out of that parking lot.
It would, I mean, it's not a huge parking lot, but if everyone's trying to leave at the same time, there's going to be a wait. Honestly, if we put another connection to the drive, we can have our civil engineer kind of do a traffic analysis to see what that would do for us. And
You have to break the sidewalk though, and then.
Yes, that's correct. But I can put that on there to take a look at as we move into the next design phase, and just see if there's any kind of relief we can provide, or how much kind of time we think it's going to take to empty out that parking lot.
I know Calvin's gonna get impatient, trying to get out of that parking.
Oh, yes, I'm very impatient.
We can give them a special spot. We'll put it aside. All right. Any other questions about junior high before we move to the field house?
How are you junior high administrators feeling about this? Meet your needs?
Yeah, we're excited about the addition of the fine arts section, and yay for more toilets. And so that's, I think what I'm gonna go down, as they know, is the lady kept asking for more toilets, so. But the additional classrooms on the end of the hallways.
So for you, it's a royal flush.
It is, so there you go. Let out that.
I'm sorry.
I will say this is a good opportunity to point out that we've really enjoyed working with staff. They've been great advocates for students and for staff and the programs in the schools, whether it's looking at the field house or the junior high. And they dream big, and they ask for a lot, but they're also reasonable to say, all right, look, this is what we need. We would like this if we could get it. And so it's been a really good collaborative process, which makes it very rewarding for us. So y'all got a great crew to work with.
Thanks. All right, on to field house.
Yeah, so if we keep going through the set, like I said, there's going to be some enlarged areas within the junior high. And eventually we'll get to this 5.6, which will show you the field house. All right, there we are. All right, so the field house, again, this has been a great back and forth process. So what we have shown in the field house is we have your varsity lockers, your JV lockers, freshman lockers, and auxiliary locker room for other athletic sports. And it can also be utilized as a visitor locker room if you also choose. Supporting those spaces, you have showers and restrooms in each of those. There are coaches' offices so that they can collaborate and meet. Those coaches' offices also have restrooms and showers so they can utilize facilities as well. In this building, we've got close to the high school, existing high school buildings on your left side here. So this would be your primary entrance. So along the top, you have your multi-purpose rooms. So those can be used for film, for special teams. That's both boys and girls using those spaces, so that's kind of universal use, whereas The locker rooms down here are for the boys' athletics specifically. You also have your athletic director office area here, some restrooms that work for visitors and for girls' athletics. We have various storage rooms for different equipment, laundry room, and different support spaces in the building. So the locker rooms have exterior exits or entrances so that they can go out towards the field without coming back into the building. And thinking a lot about supervision and sight lines within those locker rooms. And even the varsity lockers actually are partitioned off. There's a control door that prevents them from crossing over to the JV and freshman side, just to limit any opportunities for hazing and harassment that might happen. So if you remove that temptation or opportunity, then you've kind of solved some problems before they can happen. And so that's from a big picture perspective. That's really what we're looking at. And you do have the opportunities or the options to eventually connect that to the main building in the future if you so choose, or even to expand this building if you find a need down the road.
I have a silly question.
No silly questions.
Where do they work out?
So this does not support the weight room or training room. Those are provided in your existing facilities. So this is just specifically looking at replacing the locker rooms, the coach's offices to support that supervision, and then we're creating these new meeting rooms, which you don't have. And so these new meeting rooms, what it'll allow you to do, my understanding is they currently use classroom space in the main building, and so this will free up that space. So now they've kind of got these dedicated areas, but these are set as multi-purpose kind of classroom spaces, so they can be used for anything really. So if the campus so chooses, if their athletics isn't using it for certain class periods, there's no reason that couldn't be used for other instructional opportunities.
So what are they doing to the current field house?
Most likely demolishing.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a specific plan right now to demolish it, but that's the long-term vision would be that would eventually get demolished, and then you have the opportunity to expand your parking into that area. I think is one of the thoughts behind that.
So when they demolish it, where will they work out?
So they wouldn't demolish the portion that has
the
weight room.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the weight room that we have right now is fantastic.
Okay.
And the athletic trainer office is excellent too.
Got it. Okay.
And the only part we're demolishing is the really crummy, big metal building where varsity changes, and the brick portion that was built in the late 50s where freshman and JV dress out.
Okay.
Any other field house questions? So part of this field house project, just to note, will involve reworking your existing stormwater detention pond back there. We're going to basically kind of reshape it and make it deeper to make room for this building. And in the process, we're also going to address some other drainage issues that we've noted back there. When you get significant rains, the pole vault area tends to go underwater, so we're going to work on that over there. We also would like to work on some of the drainage issues around the junior high and get those improved over what's currently there. We can't do anything about Marshall Street, right? That's not ours to deal with, but we can deal with what's on school district property.
Marshall Street is school property.
Do y'all actually own it?
I think we technically own it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that, so that could make some things easier for us down the road.
Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
It isn't about the building, it's about, your projected dates. What do you do after between the, May election and September?
So we'll be rolling straight into, after this meeting tomorrow morning, we'll be working on the design development phase, which is taking this information and really developing it at a higher level of detail. So we're going in and designing the mechanical systems and all the electrical systems and really getting that set. We'll have additional meetings with staff to drill down into those specifics about systems and components. And we just continue the documentation process, further refining it, building our set of documents to the point where they're then ready to send out, to get permitted by the city and to bid those out for construction.
Because people will ask, well, why are they waiting until September and we need an answer?
Totally,
good.
totally good question, understand that, and, you know, we were able to at least get a jump start on this and get part of the way before the election happened, so we're that much farther down the road. And in y'all's wisdom of hiring a construction manager, we're able to engage with them, and so if there's any kind of longer lead items that we need to order early, we have some options for doing that even before we finished all of our documents. If they determine, hey, we really need to order this mechanical equipment because we've now found that it's taking 24 months and we can't wait that long. So y'all are in a good position to be able to react to the market and what it's doing.
Mike, you may not be able to answer this yet, but do you think it will open fall of 27 or more January of 28? When do you think we would move into those areas?
So fall of 28 right now, unless there's some components that Cloud is able to get ready earlier. You know, maybe the field house, that one should go much quicker than the actual junior high construction. So even if they start them at the same time, that one might be a shorter construction duration.
What about the 4 classrooms? Because you even have to get some more portable classrooms, or I'm thinking it should be quicker, but I don't know, because it just would be so much easier.
When you say,
and I don't know how difficult it is.
sure. When you say you think more portables would be needed, are you thinking because of growth or because
you're gonna have to tear those down, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna need those classrooms.
So what we've done is we've come up with a plan so that you can leave those existing portables in place while they're building the new additions. And then once those additions are done, you can move the students into those new spaces, and then you can remove the portables. So that way you're not spending money to rent and place new portables. So we're able to stretch the dollar further, keep those existing ones in use. So that would be kind of the last thing that would happen in the project. Everything else would be ready inside the building, and then you would remove those old portables and then clean up that courtyard space at the very end. So then you're not having to pay extra for portables for a very short period of time.
Mike, is Cloud Construction kind of one in the driver's seat on as far as the time elapsing of it?
Yes, so that they'll, right now they're evaluating this design, and they're going to give us some feedback on cost and any constructability concerns, talk about schedule, and so we'll be able to refine that. And as we move forward, we'll work very closely with the junior high campus in particular to look at what are the disruptions that are going to happen during construction and how can we mitigate that? How do we ensure student safety throughout the construction process, and really mapping that out on a month-by-month basis, and making sure that's communicated out to the campus and to the parents so they understand what's happening as well.
And the baseball turf should go really quite fast.
That's correct. That can be its own little schedule, so that'll happen based on timing of seasons, and you know.
So basically, that could be done by next year.
Yes, absolutely. And the sooner we get that done, the better, because prices don't go anywhere but up. So. And so the remaining pages in this set are really looking at some of the materials being proposed. Are the first couple of pages just showing you some brick and metal panel to complement what's already out on the buildings, and then starting to look at kind of these watercolor renderings to show you just real loosely what this is going to look like. The direction we took was, you know, make something pleasant, make it something that's easy to maintain, and you know, is pleasant but not over the top. And so we've tried to really work with the existing material palette and architectural language there, and still create some nice new opportunities. At the junior high in particular, we have a new entrance canopy and covered waiting area there, so when students are waiting to be picked up, they have shaded and protected space, a little bit safer drive as well. Yes, sir.
The intermediate, that is still included that roofing for the intermediate. Because I
Correct.
asked the voter about, and that's why, we just want the intermediate, we want the roof to be, go vote for because that's on there.
Yeah.
So that is on there, right?
That's correct. And so in this next design phase in design development, our roofing consultant is going to go out and do a thorough assessment of the roof to drill down into the specifics of what exactly needs to be done. Is it a recover? Is it a full replacement? Is there patch and repair in some places? And just look at that so we can understand the exact scope.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I would recommend that the board approve the schematic design packet provided by Huckabee, which includes technical drawings, specs, and cost estimates for the junior high addition and the new field house.
I have one more question for I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
This is still gonna be under 26, right?
So this is all within the $26 million budget. And
I'm just asking.
That $26 million is construction costs, it's the professional design fees like architect, engineers, testing services, and it's also the furniture and equipment that needs to go into the spaces. So the lockers in the locker rooms, the risers for, choir room, all that stuff.
Auditorium.
Goes into the auditorium seats, all of those items.
Thank you. I'm sorry for asking so many questions.
I like that you asked questions.
I'm just an inquiring mind.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the proposal? Okay, Lloyd, do I hear a second? Cheyenne, all in favor? And we'll dismiss it, go into executive session.